The story is about people trapped by a deadly fog filled with terrifying creatures. These creatures have arrived on Earth because of an experiment trying to open the door to a parallel universe, which went horribly wrong.
What's going on?
It's death.
David Drayton is a guy who loses electricity while working on a movie poster in his home. When David comes downstairs from work to see his family, they see a storm developing. In the basement, they sleep. A tree smashes David's poster through his window due to the strange storm. When David wakes up the following morning, his house's exterior and yard have completely collapsed. There is no longer any power. He and his family see an odd mist moving toward the town from the mountains. David discovers that the tree that fell during the storm and damaged his neighbor Norton's boathouse. David is grumpy about it since he's had disputes with Norton before too. David goes to see Norton and asks for his insurance information to settle the damage. Norton agrees, albeit he's not thrilled about it. Norton asks David if he may ride along to the market as a falling tree has also destroyed his car. Billy, David's son, Norton, and David drive in the direction of the market. They see several military trucks traveling in the opposite direction, toward the mountains on the way there. Norton and David talk about how no one is sure what the military installation in the Highlands is used for. The stories include anything from wrecked extraterrestrial spacecraft to defense research. When they go to the market, they discover that neither the landlines nor the phone signals are working and that there is no electricity there too. Due to everyone's attempt to stockpile in anticipation of the storm, there are a lot of people in the market. As David, Billy, and Norton are waiting in line at a store, 3 Army personnel arrive. They are about to get on a bus to go on leave. Soon after that, another Army officer arrives and tells them they are wanted at the base and that their leaves have been canceled. David is aware of everything. Everyone in the store becomes alarmed when they see several police cars and fire trucks traveling down the road with their sirens blaring. Subsequently, the entire town is shaken by the sound of a panicked siren, and Dan, a guy, runs towards the store while his nose is bleeding. He is yelling that something in the mist attacked and killed his companion. The mist progressively engulfing the entire town causes terror among all of them. One man chooses to run in the direction of his car, but just as he gets there, he is engulfed in mist and starts screaming. The store is shaking violently as the people inside begin to fear. Suddenly, there is a loud thump that sounds like a big foot. People assume it's an earthquake. Everyone theorizes what's in the mist. Some say it's a poisonous gas cloud from a chemical accident at the factory. Others make more dire assumptions. The end of the world, according to Carmody, a lady. They all give Carmody the sidelong glance. After they find things out, they all decide not to go outdoors. When no one offers to assist, a woman says she needs to go and head home to her alone children. She then leaves into the mist on her own. David's taking care of Billy, who is in shock. Store workers Ollie and Sally, together with Irene, Hattie, and Amanda, assist him. People listen to Norton, who is a well-respected guy in the community, when he tells them to be calm. Not many people are listening to Carmody's constant sermonizing about how the mist portends the imminence of Armageddon. David goes into the back of the store to look for blankets for Billy when something slams strongly against the back door, and David rushes back inside. He tells Ollie and 2 workers, Myron and Jim, about it. They investigate it in the store's back room, but they don't really think David is telling the truth. A younger store employee claims he will go fix the broken generator from the exterior of the business. David forewarns them against doing it, but they ignore him. The teenage store clerk is seized by enormous tentacles that rip his skin as they unlock the rear door. Ollie tries to swat an axe at the tentacles as David snatches the kid. Jim and Myron are stunned. In due course, the youthful sales associate is pulled outside by the tentacles. Ollie is told to lock the door by David, who then takes the axe and slices off a portion of the tentacles. They all come back inside and debate how to reveal all this to the rest of the people in the store. They agree to tell it to Norton first since he is a respected man and people will listen to him. However, Norton finds them untrue and believes they are part of a larger plot to make him look bad. Because of their past arguments, He believes David is acting purposefully. David informs everyone gathered in the store what he witnessed. He leads them to the rear and displays the section of the tentacle he severed, but they still don't believe him. He is now believed by everybody. Placing merchandise sacks up against the windows, they all begin reinforcing the store. It is alleged that Carmody is conversing with God in the restroom, expressing his desire to save these individuals from his fury. She steps outside and begins her sermon, telling everyone that today is the day of judgment. She says that it is the result of all the people sinning, and the only way to avoid this is by offering expiation or a sacrifice in blood. She claims that more sinners must perish in order to rescue Christians, with the young store clerk serving as the first sacrifice. Amanda smacks her in the face after growing weary of her. Everyone tells Carmody to stop talking when she says another person will die tonight. David searches for firearms with the store employees. They gather knives, construct torches out of mops and charcoal oil, and Amanda, the state shooting champion, offers Ollie her rifle. Norton walks out into the mist with a group of individuals who still don't think David is real. In order to track his progress, David asks Norton to fasten a rope around his waist. Although Norton disagrees, another man at the store does. They all emerge into the mist once he fastens the rope around his waist. For a while, it seems the man is going well, but suddenly, something tugs on the rope really hard and pulls it into the air. David and the store people struggle to hold on to it. They pull on the rope, and it comes back covered in blood. They discover that they are just pulling the man's lower body. Everyone cries upon seeing it. Carmody keeps on lecturing. Some individuals sleep at night, and others are on duty as guards. Massive insects begin to arrive and settle on the storefront window. Turning on spotlights, David and the store employees try to get a closer look. Even larger animals like birds pursue the bugs. They begin smashing against and shattering the window. Ollie discovers that the bugs are drawn to light and orders everyone to switch them off. But the bird-like things are already assaulting the window, so it's too late. The glass shatters, letting in bugs and bird-like animals. One of the bugs stings Sally in the neck. Her neck swells up and she dies. David manages to burn one of the birds using a torch. One guy tries to light his own torch but slips and accidentally lights himself on fire. After Carmody calmly recites a passage from the Bible, a bug lands on her and flies away. Just as one of the birds is going to assault Billy, Ollie kills it. To stop any further animals from entering, they seal off the window opening. Now that Carmody said someone would pass away at night and Sally has passed away, some people are starting to support her. When David visits the man who burnt himself, he is not doing well. David tells Dan, Ollie, and Amanda that they need to attempt to obtain David some medication from the drugstore next door. Additionally, he adds they must leave this store completely. He suggests that they grab his truck, which has room for 8 people, and drive it out of the mist. When the others ask him why he's wanting to go, he claims Carmody is the major reason. He claims that she is gaining support and that the more terrified people get, the more receptive they will be to her advice, and that she will eventually begin offering up those who oppose her. Because she believes that people will be reasonable, Amanda disagrees with this viewpoint, but Ollie and Dan back David. Even though Carmody has a large following now and tries to stop David and the gang from leaving for the pharmacy, they are able to defy her orders. A couple others, Irene, Jim, and one of the army guys called Jessup, join their group. As they arrive at the pharmacy and start collecting medicines, they notice that the place is covered in spider webs. They start noticing that there are dead bodies trapped in the webs. One of the dead belongs to the officer who had arrived earlier and taken the 3 soldiers with him. He claims that they are to blame for everything and that he is sorry. Something is moving inside of his mutilated body. The gang must now repel the spider-like monsters that are now emerging from all directions. The army man's body bursts open, releasing thousands of tiny spiders. The arachnid-like beings launch webs towards them, which pierce and scorch any flesh they come into contact with. While one of the gang members is murdered by the web piercing his thigh, another is slain by the spiders catching him. The remaining members manage to fight their way out of the pharmacy and run back to the store. Although they are all in terrible condition, Jim is the most surprised. David then awakens after spending the entire day unconscious from shock. He discovers that Carmody's sermon is currently being heard by practically everyone in the store. Along with David, Irene, Dan, Amanda, Ollie, and a few more want to leave the business and make their getaway in his car. As the officer at the drugstore said it was their responsibility, David says he wants to learn more about the mist first and believes the army personnel may know. David's other two companions aren't with him when he approaches Jessup with the group. Upon entering the store's rear, they discover that the other two had taken their own lives. David asks Jessup whether the mist is some kind of military experiment gone wrong, and Jessup is about to answer, but Jim arrives and drags him to Carmody and her mob. Carmody forces Jessup to tell them what is going on. The mist and these monsters came to Earth, he admits, because of studies being undertaken to open portals to peep into parallel worlds, and something went wrong. He was recently stationed at the facility, he hears. Carmody delivers a lengthy sermon accusing scientists of disobeying God, and he places the blame on Jessup, who refuses to acknowledge any responsibility, claiming he was only stationed at the installation. Anger rising within the group, Jessup is stabbed by a guy. One of the enormous beasts snatches him and drags him away after they toss him outside into the mist. Next, David wakes up, and he and his group prepare to leave the store. They are preparing to depart when Carmody and her gang stop them and encircle them. They can't go, according to Carmody. She claims that due of their sins, everything that is occurring is their fault. She informs the crowd that in order to put an end to everything, they must sacrifice the sinners. She gives the mob orders to seize Amanda and Billy. With knives in hand, the crowd approaches them, and David and his gang seize every weapon they can. Carmody yells as they battle, and as everything goes topsy-turvy, it becomes clear that Ali shot Carmody. The crowd scatters as he shoots her in the head a second time. David and his group get out into the mist and make for David's truck, but they are attacked by the spider-like creatures and the giant creatures. Ali and several of the others are killed, and in the end, only David, Billy, Amanda, Irene, and Dan make it to the car. David finds Ali's pistol resting on his car's hood. Just in time to avoid being bitten by a spider, he reaches out and captures it. They drive to David's house, where, like the pharmacy officer, he discovers his wife's body entangled in a spider web. He is inconsolable. They make the decision to take a chance and test how far the truck's gasoline will carry them. They drive for hours on end in the hopes of escaping the mist. They finally run out of petrol in the vehicle, but they are still trapped in the mist. They understand that they are helpless and stuck. David pulls out Ali's gun, and they all understand what he is thinking and agree to it. David checks and finds there are only 4 bullets in the gun. However, there are 5 people in the car. From the automobile, 4 shots are heard. As the sole one still alive, David is inconsolable about what he has had to do. He yells for the animals to come grab him as soon as he exits the vehicle. He notices military convoys pulling in right then. They are controlling the situation and lighting fire to all the critters and webs. The woman who first exited the store is one of the survivors whom they are also transporting. The mist starts to clear. David understands that Amanda, Irene, Dan, and Billy died in vain and that they could have been saved if they had persisted in waiting. He sobs and yells, "Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.